All right, guys, so we have to do, yet again, another reaction to BLM's reaction to the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. And the reason why, guys, because I think it's important to highlight this stuff, because the mainstream liberal media will tell you that this doesn't exist, right? That the only people that are making threats of violence, or what sounds like to be threats of violence in this country because they're not getting their way, is people on the right. So it's important that, you know, when these people who espouse extremist left-wing views say stuff like this, we have to talk about it, because it's just wrong, right? And it has to be called out for what it is if we're truly trying to address political violence in this country. And this time we have Milwaukee BLM militant who's saying that the Waukesha Christmas tree attack may be the start of a quote-unquote revolution. Now, this activist's name is Von Mays, who has an extensive history, like a lot of these people who get involved in this stuff do. But first, I want to actually play the video of him saying that this is the start of a revolution. Take a look.
I don't know. Now, we'll have to wait and see, because they do have somebody in custody. We may have to wait and see what they say about why this happened. But it sounds like possible that the revolution has started in Wisconsin, starting with this Christmas parade. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's something I'm missing, but I said I wasn't going to speak on no rumors. Y'all are repeating some of the stuff that, you know, that has come up. And I did tell you that the initial person who reached out to me said that they believe that this has to do with the verdict. And so I made an assumption of which side it would be from, but I don't know. Sounds like somebody, multiple people. I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm not going to repeat it or speak.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. He basically says, in response to him first hearing about what happened at the Christmas parade in Waukesha, that it sounds like the revolution has started, right? Or the revolution may have started. And it's like, well, what are you talking about, man? Like, what are you trying to say? What revolution, right? Are you trying to say that there's a revolution that is going to involve hurting and killing innocent people because you're upset about an outcome of a trial, right? Is that what it sounds like? Because to me, according to this guy's rhetoric, after the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, immediately at the courthouse, it sounds to me like that's kind of what he's talking about. Take a look.
This court, the proceeding. If any of y'all think y'all can go anywhere in this country and be around black people, go where the black people are, or supporters of black people, and think you're the police, you're going to get stuck. Like Kyle should have. Like he should have. He should be a victim. It don't matter. I'm telling them. That's what you think they came down here for. What do you think they came down here for?
He came down here to shoot black people.
He came down here to shoot some of them.
What else you saying? He came to shoot black people.
Listen, let me explain something to you. Amar Arbery is what color?
Why aren't we there?
Same shit. Trayvon Martin is what color?
Why are we there?
So, in the civil rights movement, didn't not white people get killed as well?
Yes.
Okay, then.
It's called a sacrifice.
Okay, then.
It's called a
It don't matter that he
sacrifice.
was white. They was out here on behalf of black people.
You know, guys, I always find it amazing how these guys try to use mental gymnastics to try to say that this Kyle Rittenhouse situation has something to do with black people, right? I still haven't figured out what does this Kyle Rittenhouse situation has to do with black people. I haven't figured out, besides the fact that it happened at a Black Lives Matter protest, right? What does it actually have to do with black people? I don't know. I really don't. But all that anger and vitriol, in my opinion, guys, that you're seeing there, right? To me, I think that is a product of the left-wing liberal media pushing this idea that black people are under attack in this country, right? That we are being oppressed, right? That's kind of what this sounds like to me, right? And that to me has led to a militant pushback from extremists like this guy, who are basically saying that, hey, you know what, like, you know, Kyle Rittenhouse, he should have got effed up, right? He should have got effed up. And, you know, when something like, you know, the Christmas parade happens in Waukesha, a tragedy that involved innocent people that had nothing to do with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, this man comes out here and says, well, this may sound like the start of a revolution, right? No remorse whatsoever for the innocent people involved. But these are the people that want you to get on board with their movement. These are the people that want you to understand their plight and what they're going through. But yet they always have this militant attitude and behavior towards others that, in my opinion, it is more threatening than it is welcoming, right? And for the life of me, I don't understand why people like this are not what we're talking about is in terms of, you know, potential domestic terror threats in this country. Because that's all the left wants to talk about when it comes to people on the right. But this guy right here has a history, right? A history of potentially, you know, using violence to achieve political goals. Take a look.
Milwaukee activist was released from police custody this afternoon. Vaughn Mays was greeted by a crowd of supporters outside of the Milwaukee Police Administration building.
This is just a continuance of what we've seen. Everybody knows about my legal situation, my federal charges from the last 2016. I will continue to say that there, again, I don't want to, you know, say nothing that my attorney will want me to say. But of course, man, I just feel like this is extremely wrong.
Vaughn Mays was arrested yesterday. Police say he's facing charges of burglary, party to a crime, and criminal trespassing. Police say Mays' arrest stems from the unrest near 40th and Lloyd last week. That home was set on fire during a search for 2 missing teenagers. 3 people were shot in that incident, and also 10 police officers were hurt. Protest organizer Frank Nitti says Mays did not incite that violence.
Vaughn L. Mays may have put his foot on the back porch to tell the people, hey, come down from there. But the people that actually live upstairs says that he was telling them to not go into that house. So how are you going to charge someone with burglary when the people upstairs are saying that he never burglarized them?
Protesters say that they believe Milwaukee Police Chief Alfonso Morales has a vendetta against Vaughn Mays. Mays is facing federal charges in a separate case. He's accused there of plotting to firebomb a Milwaukee police station after the Sherman Park unrest in 2016.
So as you can see that this guy has had numerous run-ins with the law. Now, you know, the part I really want to talk about here is that back in 2016, he was accused of planning to firebomb a police station and involving children in that plot as well. Now, this guy is supposed to be a community activist, right? He's supposed to have a community program for children, right? To help out children, a mentorship program. So let's actually read a little bit more about this because I want to make a point here, okay? That's actually going to be helpful to people like this, right? So let's read here. As recently as October 1st, 2020, the U.S. government argued in court that giving Black Lives Matter activist Vaughn Mays the names of juvenile and other witnesses would pose a significant safety risk to those confidential informants in Mays' long-languishing federal case in an alleged police precinct firebombing plot. Prosecutors allege that he, quote, abused his mentoring responsibilities to children through a community program, The Parks, that he ran in Sherman Park by encouraging them to attack police and teaching them how to make Molotov cocktails. Court documents show Mays' lawyer wrote in one court document that Mays' community group had a city contract at one point and was up for consideration for county funding. Records obtained by Wisconsin Right Now show that the Milwaukee County Board voted to give the group $37,000 in government money in November 2017 for youth programming services. However, then County Executive Chris Abel returned it unsigned, writing, while I support the enriching of our urban parks with programming for youth, I do not support cherry picking from many able nonprofit organizations based on supervisor relationships. We reached out to the city for the history of funding to the group, but didn't hear back. The program, Parts Group, is still active and Mays remains involved. According to its Facebook page, he sought donations through a Cash App. The program was featured in a positive profile story in 2017 after getting corporate donations to give kids cocoa and coats. Okay, so this guy, again, you know, when you hear stuff like this, it's like, okay, he's in the community, right, trying to mentor kids. Now, I don't know, man, you know, I'm not sure if he's necessarily the right mentor, but at least he's trying to do something, okay? And he tried to seek funding for his program. It seems like he almost received funding, or that he was in consideration of receiving funding from the city, and he may have got funding from other sources. But yet you go out here, right, while you're trying to build up your program to help children, and you say stuff like this. You put videos out there on the internet of you saying that the Waukesha Christmas tragedy may be the start of a revolution, right? And in my mind, I'm like, if you're trying to raise money for a program like this to help children, and you're already under investigation or have been accused of something as terrible as using children to try to potentially set a police station on fire, why would you go out here and say stuff like this, man? Why are you putting stuff out there on social media like this? Why? For what? For what? Because you're right to a certain extent. There should be a revolution. But the revolution isn't what he think it is. The revolution starts from within. The revolution starts with changing the culture from within the community, right? It starts with mentoring these young men, stop glorifying violence, teaching them some personal responsibility, teaching young women how to protect themselves, teaching them about the value of, you know, education, right? Teaching them life skills, teaching them things that are actually going to help them, right? So to a certain extent, it sounds like the man's head is in the right place, but it also seems like he's misguided, right? It seems that he doesn't really understand where the actual revolution needs to take place, right? Your beef is not with white people or the police. That's not your beef. Your beef should be with trying to change the culture in your own community, right? And again, it's just sad to see that people like this end up becoming extremists with their ideology. And to a certain extent, I blame the mainstream liberal media, right? I blame the narrative that they're putting out there that black people are under attack, right? From the police and from the government. And I think that that's what leads to this type of stuff, because, you know, there are people out there that do want to help. There are people out there that do want to give money to causes like that, but they're not going to, because you're out here pushing this type of extremist rhetoric, right? And a lot of people are just not going to want to be associated with it, right? Especially considering, again, the past things that he's been accused of, right? So all that is to say, like, you know, it's just a shame when you see somebody like this who, in my opinion, it seems like you can make an argument that, you know, his heart, to a certain extent, in terms of trying to mentor kids or whatever, could possibly be in the right place, but he's directing a lot of that energy and anger that he has at the wrong people, right? He's directing at police, white people, you know, the Rittenhouse trial. Why? That has nothing to do with your community. What happened to Rittenhouse and all that has nothing to do with black folks. But again, the mainstream liberal media has brainwashed people into thinking that what happened with Rittenhouse somehow has something to do with black people, and it doesn't. I've outlined numerous examples of black people who have got off on self-defense. Black people have a right to self-defense in this country just like everybody else. It's been proven time and time and time again. But again, the mainstream liberal media has brainwashed a lot of people and has created a whole lot of extremists in this country, because some of these people do want to do some good. Again, they're just misguided, right? Or, I mean, I don't know. In this guy's case, who knows? I mean, he's accused of trying to use children to, you know, set fire to a police station. So I don't know if this guy even, his heart is even in the right place, right? I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But again, when you come out here and you say stuff about the Waukesha parade, right, saying that it might be the start of revolution, again, it's hard for anybody to give you the benefit of the doubt or to think anything about you other than that, you know, you just might be a bad person, right? But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.